Man, 2 breakdown videos in one day. What is going on here? But we're here for the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series Week 4 picks and predictions. They take place tomorrow night, so it's going to be up for about 24 hours. Once this is uploaded, it'll be about 24 hours until fight time. I'm not expecting a ton of views, but I'm still here to give you my breakdown. A lot of people seem to like the Contender Series picks, so that's what we're going to do. And let's kick it off. First up in the lightweight division, you have Quillen Salkilld taking on Gage Young. 6-1 for Salkilld and 8-1 on the side of Young. I'm going to be honest. I watched tape on both these guys. I watched a lot of fights. Gage Young, or G-Money, is a knockout artist. This dude moves forward. He circles laterally, moves laterally left and right, and he's looking to bomb away on you with his right hand. He's looking to land that one-hitter-quitter knockout shot. That's exactly what this kid does. He's 8-1. He's got a KO. I mean, this guy's coming forward, and he's looking to land bombs on your chin. He moves pretty well. I'm not going to say that he's a terrible fighter in terms of his lateral movement, his forward movement, but he doesn't have a ton of volume. That's the one thing I don't like. And I think against Salkilld, the grappling, the forward pressure, and the durability, not so much the durability, let me rephrase that. The well-roundedness of Salkilld, I think, is going to carry him to a win here. I think if Gage Young wins, he's just going to find an opening on Salkilld, land on his chin, and knock him out cold. He has one-hitter-quitter knockout power. That's what this dude does. He comes forward, he keeps his guard high, he moves, boom, right hand, boom, overhand right, boom, left hook. He's just trying to find the power shot for the right hand. He's trying to circle you into his power, and he's trying to land on your chin. He can get takedowns, he can grapple as well, but I think he's at a severe disadvantage if the fight hits the mat. Whether it's Young on top or Young on the bottom, I think Salkilld has a much higher probability of winning if the fight goes to the ground and it takes place in the grappling and jiu-jitsu realms. I think Salkilld is going to be good enough to control Gage Young from the top position and also throw up submissions off of his back, go for sweeps, and once he gets on top, I think it's going to be very hard for Gage Young to get him off of him unless he just explodes and gives up his back, which can lead to a submission attempt from Salkilld. I like Salkilld in this fight. If you're on the side of Young, you would just take Gage Young by knockout because that's the way this kid fights. I mean, he comes forward, he lands big bombs, he tries to throw that big overhand on your chin and knock you out. And like I said, he does have serious knockout power. But from what I've seen on tape, the more well-rounded fighter, the fighter who stays calm in, sticky situations, the fighter who can resort to his grappling, the fighter who can control from the top position and go for submissions and can get ground and pound as well and control the fight once it hits the mat is going to be Salkilld. So I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with Quillen Salkilld to get the job done against Gage G-Money Young. I'm going to go with a submission victory. I think it's either ground and pound or a sub, but I think he eventually finds the way to the back of Young and takes his neck home with him. So give me Salkilld, second round rear naked choke submission. But if Gage Young lands on his chin, it wouldn't surprise me, but I kind of feel like Young is knockout or bust, and like I said, he can land it, but I think the more well-rounded fighter, the sharper fighter, the more technical fighter, and the fighter who's going to be much more equipped to handle the fight if it goes to the mat, whether he's on top or bottom, is Salkilld. So give me Quillen Salkilld to get the job done, second round rear naked choke. All right, up next, you've got a battle in the, I want to say this is the featherweight division. Yes, 145 pounds. You got a fight between the undefeated 12-0 Austin Bashi taking on Dorian Ramos, who comes back with a record of 8 wins and 2 losses. Now, Austin Bashi was actually supposed to take on a different opponent in this week of the Contender Series. He was supposed to take on Tommy McMillan, who trains alongside Sean O'Malley at the Red Hawk Academy with Tim Welsh. So that was probably going to be a better fight, but they found a pretty suitable replacement in Dorian Ramos. This guy is forward pressure, a couple strikes, and a relentless wrestling pace. He's going to shoot takedowns. He's going to go for singles, doubles, take you down. Really good with, using his height and his weight to keep you on the mat. He's very good at getting the higher ground when it comes to the grappling. He wants to be above you, landing ground and pound, switching to take the back, going for submissions. There are points where he's been taken down himself, and he's been put in compromising positions, but he seems to find a way to either reverse, sweep, threaten a submission, or find a way back on top. With Austin Bashi, he holds a victory over Oscar, who is a pretty reputable fighter, a professional fighter from out in my neck of the woods, I should say, in Chicago, Illinois, and he's a very solid fighter as well. That was actually Oscar's last defeat. He got taken down, got controlled. There was points where Bashi got pushed up against the cage and got held there by Oscar, but he landed a good front kick to the face. He landed a good right hand, left hook, some good uppercuts. It was very short punches from Austin Bashi, and eventually he was able to find a way to take the back and sink in the rear naked choke and then transition it to the gable grip and go just palm to palm to make it shorter than a traditional choke, and then ended up getting that sub. But he was even out striking him on the feet, so Bashi is the real deal. Against Ramos, he's going to have his cardio up to par. He's going to be, on the back foot. He's going to have to counter strike. He's going to have to try to throw uppercuts or knees up the middle and, avoid a relentless wrestling pace, because that's what this Ramos guy does. That's what Ramos does. It's forward pressure. It's takedowns. It's rinse and repeat, single to double, dump you on the mat, land ground and pound, stack you up in the stat guard, land ground and pound, back to the regular, back to the guard, past the guard, go to half guard, go to side control, go to full mount, and it's just a rinse and repeat of grappling, and then he starts to kind of open up with his striking the longer the fight goes, once he's already put that lactic acid in your muscles and gotten you tired. Bashi's a really solid grappler. I would give Bashi the advantage in terms of the striking as well. In terms of technicality and overall knockout power, I think he's the more dangerous fighter on the feet. But if Ramos was able to get takedowns and just continuously hold this dude down, I wouldn't be surprised. But I am going to go with Austin Bashi. I think he is going to be able to outstrike Ramos. I think he's going to be able to get to advantageous positions and wind up on top when the fight does hit the mat. I think he's going to be the fighter who's going to be threatening to finish this fight more than Ramos, where Ramos is going to be, landing ground and pound and looking for subs, but kind of winning rounds off of control time. So if he's able to control him for 2 out of the 3 rounds, then I think there is a possibility that Ramos comes in and wins this fight. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go with Austin Bashi. I think he's the much better fighter on the feet. I think he's more dangerous in terms of the striking and the submission game. I think he's able to take the back and probably win scrambles against Ramos, but he's probably going to want to use his wrestling defensively and look to land short, crisp boxing combinations and kind of piece him up. I could see this fight going to a decision, but based on how the Contender Series has played out, I'm going to go Austin Bashi by submission. I think he's going to land a big shot that's going to hurt Ramos. He's going to shoot him for a takedown. Bashi's going to win the scramble, find a way to take the back, and end up getting another rear naked choke. I know that's 2 fights back-to-back that I've picked submission finishes, but I think that when you're going up against a heavy grappler, the chokes, whether it's a front choke or a rear naked choke, are always there, and I think Bashi's going to land big shots, hurt Ramos on the feet, land some, vicious shots when he's coming in and trying to close the distance, stuff the takedowns, reverse some positions, end up winning the scrambles, taking the back, and getting the rear naked choke submission. So give me Austin Bashi to win this fight against Ramos via a second round rear naked choke submission. Could be ground and pound. He could get a KO because he is the better striker, but I like rear naked choke for Bashi. Kind of a club and sub situation here. All right, up next, you've got a battle between Will Curry taking on the Jordan Santos. Curry comes in 12-3. Santos comes back 9-1. Honestly, I think that this is probably your best shot at an underdog on the entire card. I'm not saying that I'm going to favor him to win out of, the entire fight. He's a shoo-in. He's definitely going to win. I don't think that. But I think Curry is a little bit overrated. The guy has decent striking, but he kind of just shells up and doesn't really throw a ton of volume. Maybe 1 or 2 shots, and then the majority of the time, if it's grappling, that's where he's going to have the advantage. When it's jiu-jitsu, when it's wrestling, when it's top control, that's going to be Curry's advantage, and he will have an advantage over Santos on the mat. If he ends up getting a takedown, getting into the top position, landing ground and pound with elbows, hammer fists, looking to set up submissions, then that's where Will Curry is going to shine. Curry is a much better grappler. He's much better from the top position. And for the most part, if the fight is on the ground, it's going to be Will Curry's position to win all day. But sometimes he gets a little overzealous and he'll get reversed, and then he'll end up on the bottom position, and it's a little bit harder for him to get off of that bottom position. He's very good from the top, not so good from the bottom, and sometimes, like I said, he gets a little bit reckless, and he ends up giving up positions and allowing for the opponent to land reversals and end up in the top position. But on the feet, Santos, I feel like, is the more dangerous striker. He's going to be a lot longer than Curry. He's going to be using his length, using his reach, and is probably going to be able to snipe him down the middle with that 1-2. He's got a good hook cross, a good 1-2, really solid leg kicks as well. But I do think Curry is going to be shooting those takedowns. But, you know, from what I've seen from Santos, he's not that easy to take down. Like, can he be taken down? Yes, but he has very good sprawls. He kicks his legs back, puts his hips down, and gets right back up to the feet and tries to put the combinations together. Curry's a guy who, like I said, is decent on the feet, but he doesn't really like to get hit, and he doesn't have a lot of head movement. He doesn't have a lot of head movement. He kind of just shells up and looks to counter, and then will use that to close the distance to be able to get his takedowns. But I think anytime this fight is on the feet, the plus 300 and above underdog in Jordan Santos definitely has a chance to win this fight. 100%. If it stays on the feet for 15 minutes, I would favor a guy like Santos over a guy like Will Curry. I've seen Curry get hurt with big shots. I've seen him get dropped. Like I said, I've seen him get reversed and give up bad positions on the mat where he should have easily been able to maintain position or finished his opponent. And I think this guy's overrated. I definitely don't think he should be a minus 400 favorite or a minus 300 favorite. Maybe like minus 200, minus 170. That would be the highest I would cap a guy like Curry in terms of being the favorite. I do think he should be favored, but there's no reason that he should be a 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 favorite against Santos, who is long, tall, rangy, and is going to have the power advantage on the feet against a guy who we've seen get dropped and rocked multiple times in his MMA career. I'm going to go with Jordan Santos. I think he's going to clip Will Curry. I think he's going to hurt him. I think he's going to jump on him with some ground and pound and let him back up. And then I think he's going to come back and land some more big shots and eventually get him out of there with a knockout. I'm not super impressed with Curry. I do think Curry can win when the fight does hit the mat. I think that Curry's much better from the top position. I think that if he gets into the mount, it's going to be problems for Santos. But I feel like if I'm going to pick at least one underdog on this card, it's going to be Jordan Santos. And I think he definitely can land some big shots on the top position, or I'm sorry, on the feet, and then stuff the takedowns with his solid takedown defense and maintain positions from staying on the outside, or maintain distance and, you know, outstrike Curry, who gets rocked, who gets wobbled, and outstrike him from the outside. So give me Jordan Santos via KO. I'm going to go to Jordan Santos, round 1 knockout. I think he's going to catch Curry cold, but if the fight does hit the mat, like I said, Curry's good from the top position. Curry probably can land ground and pound and get a ground and pound stoppage, or even get a submission once the fight does hit the mat. But give me the underdog. Give me Santos by knockout. And now we're at the main event of week 4 of the Dana White Contender Series. You've got a battle between Igor Cavalcante taking on Seok Young Ko. 10-2 for Ko and 9-0 for Igor Cavalcante. If you look at Igor's fights, I'm going to be honest, it was very hard to find any type of footage for this guy on YouTube, on Fight Pass. Anywhere you look for your fights, it was very difficult to find any form of tape. And everything that you did find, it was all very quick finishes. Big takedowns, ground and pound, rear naked choke, big shots on the feet for a knockout. Last fight, 42-second KO. Before that, 1 minute and 2-second KO. Before that, 18-second KO. Before that, 58-second guillotine choke. Before that, 1 minute and 12 seconds into round 1 with a KO. Before that, 2 minutes and 40 seconds in round 1. Before that, 4 minutes and 25 seconds into round 1. Before that, 1 minute and 20 seconds into round 1. And before that, a 27-second rear naked choke. But if we look at some of the records of his opponents, 2-2 in his first pro fight, 2-1 in his second pro fight, 0-2 in his third pro fight, 6-17 in his fourth pro fight, 2-4 in his fifth, 6-10 in his sixth, 2-2 in his next fight, 6-5 after that, And then in his most recent fight, 5-4. So this guy isn't fighting any sort of level of competition. If you look at Seok Hyung Ko, Mr. Incredible, or the Incredible Seok Hyung Ko, he has 6 wins by KO, 4 wins by decision. If we look at his opponents, 7-8, 30-28. That's not a great record, but that's not terrible. That's a lot of experience. 5-5. He lost to Han Seol Kim, who's 13-7. Before that, beat an 8-3 guy, which isn't too bad. Beat a 4-7 guy, doesn't look great. And then before that, a 1-1 guy. So, you know, a lot of these guys on the Contender Series, though, like I said, you can't really take their records for too much. At least there's not too much stock, because a lot of these guys are beating very low-level, bottom-of-the-barrel opposition. Like I said, you don't really know about Cavalcante. All you know is he comes out, the minute the fight starts, he's getting in your face, he's trying to rough you up, and he's trying to knock you out. He's got jiu-jitsu, he can get a rear naked choke, he can get a guillotine, he blasts doubles with takedowns, he has big shots on the feet, and he's going to try to finish you as fast as he can. That's the one thing about this guy, is he's going to try to come out and finish you as fast as he can do it. The minute the fight starts, he's looking to knock you out. For Hung Hyung Ko, I'm sorry, let me say his name right. For Seok Hyung Ko, this guy is better, I think, as an overall mixed martial artist. He's a southpaw. He uses that check right hook, the straight left hand, go uppercut hook. But the one thing I've seen from this guy is that he's been knocked out, and I've seen him get knocked out viciously. One time it was just like a little shot behind the ear he was able to catch him with. He wasn't able to recover. He got KO'd, and I've seen him get knocked out a couple times. So in his career, his overall record is 10-2. Both of those losses actually came by KO. 1 minute and 5 seconds into round 1, 1 minute and 22 seconds into round 2. So, I mean, this guy can be caught and he can be hurt. I do think he's a better fighter than Cavalcante. I think he's more well-rounded. I think he's better technically. I think he manages range and distance a little bit better. I would not be surprised if he was able to knock out this guy in Cavalcante, because we haven't seen a bunch of tape. There's not a ton that we know about this guy, but we do know that he's explosive. He comes out the gate hot, and he tries to get those KOs as fast as he can. If Jacare, we haven't said that name in a while, that's his nickname, Igor Jacare Cavalcante. If he can get in his face early and push back his opponent, then he can knock out Ko, 100%. We've seen him get pushed back, we've seen him get hurt, we've seen him get rocked, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that he does it again. Based on the fact that both of his losses in Ko have come by KO, no pun intended, I do think that there is a big chance that he might get clipped and hurt early and put out. But if this fight extends and you see Cavalcante start to slow down, you might want to take a stab at Ko in round 2, Ko in round 3. I think those are the best plays for Seok Hyung Ko, is to, you know, wait and play round 2 and round 3. If you're going to play Cavalcante, it's just round 1 KO or round 1 sub. Cavalcante round 1, Igor Cavalcante round 1, I'm sorry, and then Seok Hyung Ko round 2 and round 3. I don't know if it's a KO or a sub, because he's been able to get a lot of KOs, but I think he might be able to get some submissions. But Cavalcante is probably the better fighter when the fight hits the mat, but we don't really know that, because there is no real level of competition that he's fought. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Andre Pulayev, where it was very hard to find any tape on him, and I thought Liam Anderson was going to run through him, and then Liam Anderson just gets picked apart from the outside and kind of dominated for the majority of the fight, aside from the times when he was able to get the top position on the mat. But it was another case scenario where we weren't able to find a lot of tape on this Pulayev guy, and it's kind of the same thing with Cavalcante. Cavalcante, again, a big favorite. I think from what I've seen, there's obviously more tape on Ko. He is a good southpaw, good straight left, good right hook, good kicks. He moves well laterally. He maintains his distance. He looks like the better fighter, but it's because there's really no competition on the side of Igor Cavalcante. Like, he hasn't really had any adversity. He hasn't had any competition, and he's just running through everybody. I wouldn't be surprised if the underdog got it done, because from what I've seen, I think he is the better fighter. But again, I haven't gotten to see much. But I'm going to go with Cavalcante by a first-round knockout. Because both of the losses from Ko have come by KO, I think it's possible he just gets clipped with a big shot and gets put down. I do think Ko is the better fighter, but I think he's going to get KO'd by Cavalcante, and we're just going to have to wait and see. Like I said, there's not much you can tell on tape. There's not much tape you can find, but one thing we do know is he comes out strong, he comes out hot, he pushes the pace early, and he looks to put you out as fast as he can. And he can grapple and can take you down, explosive takedowns. I'm going to go with Igor Cavalcante by first round knockout, but if it gets into round 2 and round 3, then Ko is definitely live to get a finish. Probably a KO after he tires out Cavalcante. But give me Cavalcante, round 1 knockout against, give me Seokyoung Ko. Or, I'm sorry, oh my god, I can't talk today. Give me Igor Cavalcante, Jacare, over the incredible Seokyoung Ko by first round knockout. That's really it. Thank you for watching my Tuesday Night Contender Series Week 4 predictions. I'm your host, Double M, and I'm out.